What's up, dude, man? It's Thatboicarter, back with another video on the Thatboicarter YouTube channel. And I know a lot of my promises I've made in the past fell through, so this time, fuck you. I'm not making any promises, and I'm not making any, I'm not alluding to shit, because I don't know what's happening tomorrow, and neither do you. I could upload a video, I could not. I probably won't, but we'll see where this goes. So I decided, you know what? With all these plans to make videos about my DVDs, I might as well just tackle them all, except for the Twilight Zone ones, which I'll do in a separate video. But yeah, let's just get into it. I'm gonna rewatch every one of my DVDs in whatever order, and I'm gonna give them a review, one at a time, or several at a time. I mean, I have a few written down there. And these are the ones we're gonna tackle today. First one, starting with the 1943 movie by Val Lewton and Jacques Tourneur, The Leopard Man. This movie, 1943, produced by Val Lewton. I got it as part of this collection shit. This movie's pretty good, I'd say. It's based on a book called Black Alibi, and it's about so this person is like, yo, we're in New Mexico, and we need to attract some attention while our rival is performing her little song with the little clickers. Not maracas. What the fuck is that shit called? I don't even know, and I don't care. They're like, let's distract by bringing a big old cat on a string, a big old leopard, and then just sitting down and acting like nothing's going on with a big ass leopard just chilling. It's a stupid idea, but and it goes wrong, as you would expect. The leopard, the rival, she is all up in the leopard's face, fucking clacking her shit, and then the leopard runs away and scratches someone, and then someone gets killed by the leopard, and then another person gets killed by the leopard, and then the dude who initially had the idea of using the leopard as a publicity stunt is like, wait, I thought the leopards don't kill people, bro. Why is it killing all these people? And he slowly starts to realize the first death was a leopard, but after that, something shady's going on. There's like a serial killer type shit who's using the leopard to hide behind that excuse. There's no murders going on. It's just a fucking leopard. But leopards aren't really known to attack people often. It's like a serial killer thriller, basically. That rhymed. I might put that in a rap. It's a serial killer thriller, and it's pretty good at what it is. Apparently, it's one of the first few American movies to try and accurately depict a serial killer, which is interesting. Interesting fact I learned. But yeah, overall, this movie gets an 8 out of 10. Val Lewton movies are pretty solid for the most part. This just wasn't one of my favorites. He made 9 low-budget psychological horror thriller films in the 1940s, and there's some really good ones in there, like Isle of the Dead, Bedlam, Cat People. Cat People was probably the most famous one. Curse of the Cat People, sequel to that one, and The Ghost Ship, which we will talk on later in this video. Next one is the classic that everybody knows. This shit is Dracula. Boom, the original thriller from 1931, the first real supernatural thriller to make it to the big screen in America, starring the classic Bela Lugosi, who basically went on, took the Dracula character, did kind of a different thing with it than the book, and kind of defined what we think of as Dracula today. Because before this movie came out, Dracula was a very different looking character. He was he had a big old mustache. He was old and nasty looking, and had hair on his palms. And he was more monstrous than charming. But as the book progressed, he would drink blood and get younger. But in this, he's just a slick back hair, aristocrat with a very thick accent. Even though it was different in the book, it went on to define the how we would view the Dracula character from here on out. Directed by Todd Browning, produced by Carl Emily Jr. And based on the book Dracula. In terms of being accurate to the book, it's not really that accurate, but it doesn't have to be accurate to the book to still be a good movie, I mean, I'm not an in-depth film critic, but the first 20 minutes of the movie when Renfield is traveling to Transylvania in the mountains, and he goes to Dracula's castle and starts to slowly realize that there's some weird shit going on. That's this is peak 1930s filmmaking right here. And interesting enough, like I said, it was the first real supernatural thriller in America that didn't have some twist. It was ghosts aren't real, it's just a big old joke. It was really it was the first movie that was definitely nah, this shit is not fake, this shit is real, this shit is actually going on. The first movie to unapologetically show the supernatural and not give an alternate explanation, which is something that people didn't really see in movies in America at the time. In other countries, like, shit was different. Like, Germany had Nosferatu in 1922, and that was a very strictly supernatural horror film, and that also drew from the same source material as Dracula, just with like changed elements to avoid copyright. But yeah, Dracula gets a 9 out of 10. Fucking classic ass movie. I love this movie. And now we got our first 10 out of 10, and that is Frankenstein from the same year. Directed by James Whalen, produced by Carl M. Lee Jr., and based on the book Frankenstein. It's not accurate at all to the book because I'm reading it now for school, but it's still a good movie. Classic Boris Karloff depiction of the monster. And it's just one of the best OG sci-fi horrors. Obviously, you got like the classic, like, giving the creature life scene where it's like, he's like, it's alive, and the shit's hand starts moving and all that good stuff. And the monster goes on like a killing spree. Now that I know the source material, some of it does bother me. It's like, this is not like the fucking book at all. But it's okay. It still works. It's still a classic movie, and I would highly recommend it if you haven't seen it already. I mean, I'm pretty sure most people have seen the original Frankenstein. It's a fucking classic, good movie. Highly recommend it. Boris Karloff's depiction of the monster, once again, like Dracula, would go on to define how we view that monster and character from here on out. And I think that's a really cool thing, because this movie it's just like, you know, once again, like with Dracula, the sets are really cool. It has the first, like, classic element of, like, the old Universal monster movies with, like, the torch-wielding mob going out and, like, on a rampage, burning down the windmill and shit. But, yeah, I like this movie a lot. I just, like, maybe wish it was a little more accurate to the book. They made the dude's name Henry instead of Victor, which is the only film version of this I've seen do that, which is kind of weird. But yeah, OG sci-fi horror from the 1930s. Go check that shit out. The Wolfman from 1941. Not that fuck-ass movie from, like, last year or whatever. Fuck that movie. This was not the first, like, werewolf movie that Universal made. Like, 1936 had a Werewolf of London, which is, like, the first real, like Universal werewolf movie, but this was the one that really got popular. That one wasn't really even that well received at the time. Directed by George Wagner, starring Lon Chaney Jr., and like I said, not the first Wolfman movie, but this one really popularized it. I will say that the costume for the Wolfman is not done great with time. It's a little goofy looking, but you know, they did what they could at the time, and I honestly think it would be more interesting if they did what they did in the She-Wolf of London, where they made it so, like, he didn't know if it was actually happening or not. Like, you know, like, he wakes, like, they don't actually show the Wolfman attacking people, but, like in the She-Wolf of London, he wakes up in the morning, hears about a murder, goes back to sleep, and another murder happens when he finds out about it when he wakes up. And that just, I feel like that would make it more of, like, a psychological thriller, and then at the end, you could have, like, a big reveal of the Wolfman. I don't know, I feel like that could have really worked well as a psychological horror, but they wanted to make it more, like, literal. So they just made the Wolfman outfit and shit. And I really did like this movie. Honestly, like, the other Wolfman movie that they made in the 30s was not bad either, but this one was definitely the better one. Better story, you know, better sets and stuff. And like a nice, like a kind of a sad ending, like a little bit of a tragedy here, but you know, it's a good movie. I will give this a 10 out of 10. Haunted Palace, 1963, 9 out of 10. Directed by Roger Corman and written by Charles Beaumont. This movie is named after an Edgar Allan Poe, like, poem that's, like, supposed to be like a, like the Haunted Palace poem. I thought it was, like, from what I've read, it's more of like a metaphor. It's not like an actual haunted thing. It's like more of a metaphor for, like, trauma and how a man can be like a big old palace and then bad shit happens and he's like, it's like haunted almost, you know what I'm saying? But this one fuses elements of like gothic, like Edgar Allan Poe type horror with like this like Lovecraftian element involving like the elder gods, like Cthulhu and shit. Like that's like basically the whole plot is like there's this warlock in New England whose ancestor comes back and he possesses his ancestor and wreaks havoc on the town that like burned him up at the stake.
I said something stupid. I meant to say descendant instead of ancestor.
Oh shit, man, my bad. And then he tries to like summon like the elder gods and shit. It's a pretty interesting narrative. And it stars Vincent Price, who's a fucking good actor. And I like Vincent Price a lot. But yeah, this movie gets a 9 out of 10. It's a very good movie. Watch that shit if you haven't already. This one's one of the lesser, not that it's unknown, but it's lesser known than, of course, like Dracula or Frankenstein or the Wolfman. But yeah, check that movie out. I have 2 copies of it now because I bought it as a double feature with House of the Fall of the House of Usher, which is a movie I haven't finished yet. I fell asleep that one time and I was about to finish it, so I gotta better get on that. And then I had it previously as part of like a double feature with Tower of London, another movie starring Vincent Price. But yeah, good movie. Check that shit out. And we come to our last one, another Val Lewton movie, The Ghost Ship, about this sea captain who hires a new third officer, but the third officer slowly starts to realize that this captain, who's a very interesting character, I wouldn't even necessarily say he's evil, he's just off his fucking rocker. But this captain starts to go mad, starts to kill off crewmates, starts to act very recklessly. And then everyone turns on him. He's like, this is a great captain. He's not doing anything bad. But then it's like, and then he gets like shunned by the crew. And then the captain tries to like kill him and shit. It's like this whole thing. No ghosts in it though. It's called The Ghost Ship and there's not a single ghost in this movie, which I was a little disappointed at first. But you know, I've grown to appreciate this movie. It's still not one of my favorites out of the ones I've talked about. It gets a 7 out of 10. So compared to the others, my least favorite. But this is still a good movie. It's more of like a psychological thriller. No real direct horror elements, I'd say, but it is technically part of like the Val Lewton horror series. Oh yeah, it's directed by Mark Robeson and produced by Val Lewton. And this movie's narrative really, like, not in a bad way, but it gets me pissed off because I feel really bad for the like in movies where that happens, where it's like it's one dude pitted against fucking like everyone's against him and like doesn't believe him. It's like everyone's gaslighting him and shit and be like, "God, you're just fucking crazy." Like movies like that for some reason get me like angry. I don't know why, but it's like I just feel bad for the dudes. And it's like if I'm in a situation where no one believes what I'm saying, which I have been before, that shit is so annoying and it drives me insane. I wouldn't blame this dude for going fucking crazy. But yeah, this is a good movie. Like I said, it's a 7 out of 10, 1943. No ghosts, not really a horror movie, but a very good movie. A very good psychological thriller. So that's like the last movie I had here for today, but I'm just going to make these videos relatively short, just because I want to get through all the DVDs I have. But yeah, that shouldn't be too hard. I have quite a bit now, at least 50. But yeah, we'll get through them one by one, and I'll also do the Twilight Zone video, which is still in the works. Thank you for watching. Thatboicarter. Do subscribe down below. Yeah, check that shit out. Bye.